Hey guys, hopefully everyone is doing well. Today's target is to solve question number 7. The chapter which we are related with is accounting ratios, and you can see that in this question we have our income statement, and all of the formulas related to income statement is our requirement. Balance sheet is not given. In other meanings, no ratio related to balance sheet items is required. We need to calculate gross profit ratio, operating profit ratio, and net profit ratio. That means we need gross profit, operating profit, and net profit. But second thing is, this is question. Solution is not provided. Like in previous questions, we were provided by all the requirements. It means we will have to calculate all these profits first. So it means, like in cost of goods sold statement in previous chapter, what we have done, we are going to do the same thing over here. It means we need income statement. So how do you calculate income statement? For that purpose, we are going to make three columns, and let us handle in this way. We will change it later on. Alright, so three columns are ready and you know it very well. We start with sales and then we will subtract cost of goods sold. And how do you make cost of goods sold? First opening stock, then you will add purchases, and then we'll have to write in this way. Add purchases, because sum is mathematical sign, and again you will add any of the direct expense, then you will write down return. And I will let you know that there are no, yes, there are sales return, but purchase return are not available, so we can skip direct expense and returns. So less closing stock. Please understand, again we need to put over here add direct expenses, and secondly less return out. But in our question, purchase returns are not given, and secondly we don't have any direct expense. Direct expenses are not present, so we have skipped this step. So in this way, opening stock plus purchases minus closing stock, we will get our CGS. For sales, as returns are present, so we'll have to subtract less sales return from sales. So guys, in this way we are trying to complete our income statement. Thus we will get gross profit. When you will subtract your cost of goods sold from sales, you will get gross profit. And now operating expenses would be written over here, and you will subtract all of the operating expenses. Let's count how many operating expenses we have. This is starting from here: 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. It means there are 9 lines needed. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Okay, 10. So in this way we will get our operating balance, but let's check it out if there is no. Yes, this would be considered as our operating profit. And while calculation of this, you must have in your mind that operating profit is calculated. Why? Because look at here, operating and operating profit ratio is required. So operating profit would be calculated. After that, This is your income, and income would be added. Here you will add other income, non-operating income, heading other, and then operating expenses. There are two other incomes. One, okay, we need little more setting about that. So what does that mean? Two incomes would be over here, and then you will have to, when you will subtract other expenses, and how many other expenses are, look over here, there is only one non-operating expense, 4,000. So you will leave one space over here. So guys, in this way our income statement would be completed. The answer we will get over here would be our net profit. Here we will put net profit. And why we are calculating net profit? Because you can see that net profit ratio is also required. So we are going to solve it in a hurry. First of all, we need to put our sales. One thing is good luck for us because everything is written according to our performer. First sale 5,20,000, just put over here, and then you need to have sales return given over here. These sales return are 20,000, so let's put 20,000 over here. Finally, we will get our net sales by subtracting returns from sales. So we have got sales as 5 lakh. Now next process is to write down your opening stock. See how much is your opening stock, that is 76250, and then we will see how much amount of purchases, 32250, 32250. Then we will put closing stock, and that is 98500. Okay guys, so closing stock we have written, purchases we have written. Now CGS would be calculated over here. How? Opening stock plus purchases, you can see add purchases, and then subtract closing stock less. So we have got our closing stock over here. This way our CGS has been calculated, and at this stage we are now open to calculate our gross profit. How? When you will subtract your CGS from sales. So your sales 5 lakh and 3 lakh CGS, we have got our gross profit. First calculation is completed. Now we can go to our formulas. Look at here. First requirement is gross profit ratio, and you must have in your mind first ratio we are calculating, gross profit ratio. And how do you calculate? For this you need to have gross profit at upper side, and then you will divide it with sales. Let me settle down. Gross profit needs a divisor. Formula is gross profit divided by net sales, and then you will multiply it with 100. At this stage gross profit has already been calculated. Sales is also mentioned. Here you can see gross profit is 2 lakh. So just put 2 lakh, and net credit sales also been calculated. This is 5 lakh. So just put 5 lakh in place of sales, and then answer would be multiplied with 100. We are now open to calculate it. Gross profit 2 lakh divided by sales 5 lakh. and then you will multiply it with 100. Alright, so in this way our answer is in terms of percentage, as you know that we have multiplied it with 100. Let's check it out. Gross profit ratio, look at here, it is 40%. Now we will proceed to our pro forma. We need to write operating expenses. So here we need to settle it as well. Operating expenses are starting from here: salary, advertising, traveling. So just write down salary, advertising, and the last is traveling. Okay guys, so we have three expenses related to operating. Let's put their amount first: salary, advertisement, and traveling. 15,300 amounts are odd, and then we have advertising 47 and 2000, 37 and 2000. So in this way, first part of operating expenses has been written. Now next part we are going to write where administrative expenses also part of operating: sale, rent, postage, depreciation. So here you will write sale, rent, let me need salaries, salary, no, it was something, selling expenses, rent expenses, this is sale, or we should write selling expenses, rent expenses, and then postage, depreciation. So we have postage, then we have depreciation. After that we have other charges and taxation, other charges and taxation. So guys, in this way all operating expenses have been written. Now it's time to write down their values. 27, 27, 25. I'm hopeful that I will remember it. 27, 27. Forgot. 25 and 93. 25, 93. And now other charges 16,540. 16,500 and 40,000. So guys, all operating expenses have been calculated, and we will take some of these operating expenses over here. This would be helpful to calculate operating profit. So sum of all operating expenses calculated. Here we are open to calculate our operating profit. How? Gross profit less operating expenses. Sum of all operating expenses we have written over here. Gross profit is this, subtract operating expenses. So we have got our operating profit. For that, what next requirement we can calculate is operating profit ratio. Operating profit ratio, this is our third requirement. And second requirement, we can also calculate operating ratio. How you will calculate operating ratio? CGS plus operating expenses. So two ratios are now ready for us. So second is operating ratio, which we have calculated in previous question as well. For that, what we need? CGS plus operating expenses, and this would be divided by net sales. Alright guys, so come up. That is why it is little easy for us now, because look at here, this is our CGS, and answer of this CGS was calculated over here. How you have calculated? Opening stock plus purchases minus closing stock. You have got your CGS, which is 3 lakh. So here put 3 lakh, and then you need to put operating expenses, and heading is already available. Look, operating expenses, and sum of these operating expenses 1,20,000. You have already calculated. So put 1,20,000 over here, and then you need to put your net sales, which has also been calculated. This is your net sales, 5 lakh. You have subtracted your sale return from sales to get net sales, 5 lakh. So here put 5 lakh. So values are completed. Now we are open to calculate it. For that, let's remove divisor first. We are copying it for our calculations. Look, here we have calculated CGS plus operating expenses, putting a divisor so that it can be understood. So guys, operating ratio, how do we calculate? CGS plus operating expenses divided by sale, and if you want to calculate in terms of percentage, multiply it with 100, and similarly over here. So we are now concluding our ratio. CGS plus operating expenses 420 divided by 5 lakh net sales and multiply with 100. So we have got 84%. This is what we have calculated is operating ratio. Second was operating ratio, and 84% was the answer. So here 84% we have calculated, and what was that? Operating ratio. After that, with the same calculation, we can conclude operating profit ratio. And how would we calculate it? For that, we need operating profit, and this would be divided by net sales in the similar way. Here you will write amount of operating profit, then divided by net sales. This is also net sale, but it was understood. We always take net sales. So guys, we need to get operating profit, and can you imagine operating profit is already been calculated? Come over here, look at it. Operating profit 80,000 is calculated. How? When you will subtract operating expenses from gross profit, you will get your operating profit, that is 80,000. So here you will put 80,000. Net sale, we have already seen, value of net sale is 5 lakh. So just put 5 lakh over here. Put a divisor, and if you want to calculate it in terms of percentage, you need to multiply it with 100. So let's calculate. Operating profit 80,000 divided by 5 lakh is your net sales, multiply it with 100. So we have got 16% as your answer. Let's check it out. Operating profit ratio. So here operating profit ratio third, that is 16%. Now finally we will be calculating net profit. For that we need net profit. Okay, there are few elements present over here. Other income mentioned over here, dividend and profit. Let's mention dividend and profit on shares. These were two operating income. As you know that incomes are added. So first we will write their amount, dividend and shares, 9 and 3,000. So here you will put 9,000 and 3,000. Over here we will take sum of these amounts, that would be 12,000. Look at here, 9,000 plus 3,000, it would be 12,000. And we have other expense as well. Let's see what is other expense. Look, non-operating or other expense, that is 4,000. So we will put 4,000 over here, and this is loss mentioned over here, loss on sale of asset 4,000. So please note it down. These are other expenses less other income add. Okay guys, so this is 4,000, only single amount is present, after which we will be able to calculate net profit. How? Look, this is your operating profit, then you will add your income. Income is 12,000, and then you will subtract your other expenses, less other expenses, and amount is 4,000. So here we have got, again, this is your operating profit. You will add your other income, and then you will subtract your other expenses, that is 4,000. So we have got our answer of net profit. So final formula which is required, this was operating profit ratio, and now we are calculating fourth and last formula, which is net profit ratio. How do we calculate? For this we need to have net profit, and that would be divided by net sales. And if you want to calculate it in terms of percentage, simply you will multiply it with 100. Net profit recently we have calculated, look, and that is 88,000. So put over here 88,000, and then you need to put sale, which we have already calculated, 5 lakh. Right, put our divisor, and then we need to multiply it with 100. Alright guys, so our formula is completed. It's time to put it on our calculator. First I'm just removing extra line. Okay guys, so what we are doing over here, this is our net profit 88,000 divided by net sales 5 lakh, and then simply multiply it with 100. So we have got 17.6. Alright guys, look at here, 17.6 is our answer. So in this way, net profit ratio is also calculated in terms of percentage. We have completed our question. Our divisor is needed, so let's put it over here. And finally, we will review all of our 4 answers. First, gross profit ratio 40%. This is your gross profit ratio, and that is 40% we have calculated. Then operating ratio, it was calculated 84%. So second was operating ratio 84%. Third, operating profit ratio, this is operating profit ratio, and that is 16%. So here 16 third answer, and last 17.6. Here you have calculated net profit ratio 17.6. So I'm pretty sure that you people have 100% understood the phenomena. The only thing which is important is to make your income statement first. By making this income statement, everything would be pure, easy and smooth like butter. You have followed these formulas, 4 formulas, and just put the amounts you have calculated in these formulas to get these ratios. So guys, in this way our lecture is required to be ended. Thank you very much for your time. It is humble request to repeat and revise this question for 3 to 4 times, and then you will realize which part of the question is difficult for you, You can share your problem with me through text messages or you can directly contact. I am 100% sure that instantly I will try to answer your queries. So thank you very much for your time. It's time to say goodbye. Allah Hafiz.